When you're working on learning something, be it for school, work, or just a hobby, having the right mindset is absolutely critical to success. In this video, I'm going to explain the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, and tell you how to change your mindset so that you can be successful. Hey, I'm the Improvement Geek, sharing scientific self-improvement to help you achieve your goals. The topic of mindset is a really fascinating one, and for more information after you watch this video, I highly recommend checking out the book Mindset by researcher Dr. Carol Dweck, who's done an outstanding amount of research on this topic. It's really useful information because people tend to lean more towards one side or the other, with one side being a fixed mindset and the other side being more of a growth mindset. The main feature of people with a fixed mindset is they believe that their intellect and their skills are fixed and that they're unable to improve them even if they put in time and effort. My favorite example of this is the person that we've all known who says, "I hate math because I can never learn it." So because of that belief, people that have a fixed mindset are often afraid or even unwilling to try to learn a new skill. For another example, it would be like if I was watching another YouTuber who had really clean editing or cinematic B-roll or just great delivery and charisma when they were talking, and if I was sitting there watching that and feeling like, man, I could never be that good. That would be a fixed mindset. Other characteristics of a fixed mindset are, like I said earlier, being afraid or unwilling to try because the person doesn't want to fail at all. And people with a fixed mindset are also typically jealous of other people's successes. A fixed mindset usually forces people to not really take any risks throughout their life, to play it safe and not really try anything that they feel is outside of their skill set. But perhaps the biggest problem with a fixed mindset is, by definition, the person believes that they're unable to change their mindset because they don't feel like they can change themselves. So that causes a fixed mindset to not only be a self-fulfilling prophecy, but also a self-limiting belief that continues indefinitely. But the good news is that you actually can change your mindset. I'll get back to how in just a second, but first, let's take a look at what a growth mindset is. So a growth mindset is the type of mindset that I've tried really hard over the past couple years to adopt. And the primary trait of a growth mindset is believing that your intellect and your skills can be improved with time and effort. So going back to that math student example, if the student has a growth mindset, then they would say, man, I've been really struggling with this calculus homework lately, but I know that I'll be able to figure it out eventually. Or for me, when I'm watching some of the great YouTubers that I follow that are doing really cool things, I try to silence that voice that's telling me that, oh man, I could never do that, and instead really investigate and pick apart these things that these YouTubers are doing and then try to figure out how I can bring that to my Improvement Geek channel. So since people with a growth mindset understand that sometimes improving your intelligence and your skills takes some time and effort and even struggle, they often understand that failure is kind of part of the game, and they're not afraid to try and fail and then try again. And that's really important because with YouTube, for example, a lot of this really comes down to just doing the work and getting the experience. Yeah, I may put out a video and it doesn't really go over that well, or I'm not happy with it, but I still learn from the experience. And that helps me improve future videos. And returning once again to the example of me watching other YouTubers, people with a growth mindset aren't jealous of the successes of other people. They're happy for the other people, but more importantly, in a way, they also try to learn from those successes and figure out how the other person did what they did so that they can replicate that and succeed themselves. Now you may be wondering, why would anybody choose to have a fixed mindset instead of a growth mindset? Well, the thing is, whichever mindset we have is largely subconscious. And that's because it's been built up over time by the habitual actions and reactions and things that we've done over the course of our lives. So again, it's largely unconscious. A lot of the reactions that push us towards a growth mindset or a fixed mindset are really just our instantaneous reactions to situations and events in our lives. It's really easy to kind of be an autopilot and go along with whatever our initial feeling is to something. But the thing is that initial feeling is usually subconscious, coming from some program that we've kind of set up for ourselves, again, with our habits due to the actions that we've taken over the past months or years. So the first thing you need to do to switch from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset is to stop and think when you have a fixed mindset reaction to something, and start investigating how you feel and start picking apart why it is that you feel that way. See, many of the fears that are related to our instantaneous reactions to something are either unrealistic or at the very least highly unlikely. My friends and family can tell you that when I was in school, I was constantly terrified of bombing an exam or doing terrible on a homework assignment, but it always wound up working out a lot better than I thought it would. But the problem is that fear of failure kept me from putting in a lot of effort towards that thing that I needed to do because I felt like it wouldn't matter. I felt like I was going to fail no matter how hard I tried because I didn't think I was good enough. Unfortunately, I didn't know enough about this subject at the time, so I never really dug into those feelings. I just accepted them at face value, and so I was kind of paralyzed by fear and never really put in a lot of effort until I absolutely had to. So the next time you're faced with a situation that makes you kind of nervous or fearful or you think you're going to fail, start thinking about that feeling that you're having and really try to dig in and pick apart what it is that you're afraid of. And once you understand that and start consciously thinking of whatever that thing is, that'll really empower you to start pushing past that, do the thing you need to do, and more importantly, start actually changing that program that you've written for yourself. The second thing you can do to start changing your mentality is to improve the quality of your self-talk. If you're the type of person that often tells themselves that they're dumb, or you even joke around about, I could never learn that, or I can't do that, or something along those lines, try to back down off of that, or at least counterbalance it with some more positive self-talk. I've read that the things we consciously think or say out loud are just accepted as fact by our subconscious. So if you're constantly thinking to yourself that you're stupid, or you're joking around even with other people that you can't do something or you could never learn something, then eventually your subconscious is just going to accept that as being true. And then when you are faced with that something that you've been talking about and talking yourself out of, then you're really going to believe that you're unable to do it. The third thing you can do to start changing your mentality is to track the progress that you're making and celebrate the wins you have along the way. I started doing YouTube less than a year ago, and even though I'm not happy with a lot of the videos that I put out and I know they could be better, and even though I do sometimes compare myself to YouTubers who have been doing this for years and have learned way more than I have so far, I still understand that I am making progress. So sometimes I go back and look at my older videos and really appreciate how far I've came since I started. And I definitely recommend you do the same. If you can look back over previous exams that you've taken or some work assignments that you've done in the past and look at how far you've came since you started putting in effort, then that'll really help you start understanding that you are improving. And the more time and effort you put into something, then the greater you'll become. Having a fixed mindset is a self-limiting belief that's really related to having a lot of self-doubt. If you want to learn more about the science of why we doubt ourselves and a few ways that you can overcome it, then check out this video right here. As for me, I upload fresh sciencey goodness every Saturday morning, so click right here to subscribe to make sure you catch all of my new videos, and I'll see you in the next one.